Hi, everybody. Welcome to City Beat. I am your host, Nancy Byrne, and we are coming to you from the KCLV TV studios, where we continue to socially distance, my photographer Steve Horlock and I. And I'm not wearing a mask because this is an area that is not public access, and actually, no one's been in here for a couple of days. There's a new place for you to go for COVID-19 testing. Now, this place is indoors, which means it's cooler, less wear and tear on your car while you wait in line, and there are specific lines for people with symptoms, people without symptoms, and even a line for people without appointments. It's a team effort between the City of Las Vegas, UMC, Clark County, and the National Guard. We were given a tour right before they opened and found out every step of the way, every thought was put into convenience, comfort, and efficiency. It's the day before opening at this new COVID-19 testing site at Cashman Center, and finishing touches were being attended to all around. The Nevada National Guard worked on clearly marking spots to ensure social distancing. Lines were set up so that instead of one long line, there are several with large signs indicating where to go according to your last name. And at the end of each line, there is a station where clinicians will personally assist each and every person, because tests here will be self-administered. Representatives from all the partners responsible for this testing site were on hand to walk the media through the process that will take place here. Clark County Commission Vice Chairman Lawrence Weekly kicked off the welcome.
I want to welcome you all here to Las Vegas Valley's newest community-based COVID-19 testing site.
Cashman Center is in the heart of Ward 5. Councilman Cedric Creer emphasized the importance of making testing and tracing convenient for all residents.
And by testing, we learn how prevalent COVID-19 is in our community, and we can respond accordingly to help keep the community safe. Conducting accessible, routine, and rapid results testing will take asymptomatic infections out of the chain of infection earlier, and fewer people will get sick as a result of it.
Councilwoman Olivia Diaz also represents a large area of downtown Las Vegas. She says the Hispanic community is being hit hard by this virus. She spoke of a program she helped launch, reaching out to that community, letting them know about sites just like this.
The county and I launched a campaign a few weeks ago, the Spanish language campaign, Está en tus manos, it's in your hands, and it includes a website at estaentusmanosnevada.com, where it gives everyone, especially this valuable test site, as where they can go and get COVID-19 tested.
Clark County firefighter Joseph Virtuoso was the incident commander at Texas Station testing site. He resumes that role here at Cashman, which replaces Texas Station. He led the tour.
When you do walk in, you'll get your temperature checked, and we'll direct you towards your line, whether it's registered, unregistered, or if you're feeling sick that day. We also have a line for that.
He took us through the process, explaining every step of the way, comfort and efficiency were made a top priority.
Anybody that's feeling any type of symptoms will go at the other line over there.
In fact, there are lines for those with symptoms, those asymptomatic, those with appointments, and those without. After you get to your designated line, you will be face to face with a clinician who talks you through the self-administered nasal swab test. There were several volunteers, Commissioner Weekly, as well as City of Las Vegas employees Jasmine Freeman and Rusty Barzona Covington.
Our clinician is going to guide him up to the table and give him the instructions from there.
From getting the swab out of the packaging, which is a little more challenging than you might think, to administering the test in both nasal passages, to making sure it's put in the specimen vial properly, the frontline workers make sure the tests are done properly and are not compromised. After the test, there's an easy exit. And the table is sanitized for the next person. It may seem like the test recipient is doing most of the work, and that's the idea. The self-administered tests are designed to be more comfortable for the recipient and safer for the medical staff by putting extra distance between them and the public. All of the partners say they heard feedback from the public at Texas Station, and they want people to feel anything but intimidation coming here to Cashman Center.
I just want to encourage everyone that it is okay to get tested, that it is okay if you're feeling symptoms, or if you're not feeling symptoms but you know you've been around someone who did test COVID-19 positive, it's of utmost importance that you come and you get tested. So protect yourself, and by doing that, you're protecting your family and your community as well.
The Cashman Center is located at 850 North Las Vegas Boulevard. Exhibit A is on the north side of the campus. They are open Tuesday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And while appointments are not required, they are highly recommended. You can do so by going to UMC's website at umcsn.com or by calling UMC at 702-383-2619. Remember, facial coverings, temperature scans, and social distancing are required at the Cashman Center. Well, as we work our way through this pandemic, we want to remind you that we here at City Hall are doing everything we can to protect our employees and to protect any residents who need to come to City Hall for any kind of business or to attend a meeting. So we want to remind you of the safety measures we've put into place. Oh, the good old days when you could walk right up to our beautiful City Hall and walk right inside. Well, thanks to the coronavirus, that is no longer practical or safe for the public or the employees without going through a few safety steps. First of all, everyone comes in through one door where you will see a path marked by these barriers. They look a little like what you would go through at an amusement park to get on a ride. On the floor are indicators of where you must stand in order to adhere to social distancing. Don't worry, if there is a line, it moves quickly. While in line, you may want to ask yourself this series of self-certification questions. Do you have a cough or shortness of breath you cannot attribute to another condition? Do you have symptoms such as fever, chills, or muscle pain? And have you come in contact with anyone with a confirmed case of COVID-19? If the answer to all of those questions is no, then you move up to one of several city employees who will take your temperature without actually touching your forehead. If your temperature is 100.4 or higher, you'll be asked to take a seat for a few minutes so it can be rechecked. If it drops below 100.4, you are free to move on. If not, you will not be permitted to continue inside. Now, if you are turned away because of your temperature, you might want to check with your doctor, but it is in no way a diagnosis. It just means that you may have one of the symptoms often associated with the coronavirus. Now, this is going to be going on until it isn't. Well, here at the City of Las Vegas, we don't just look out for humans, we look out for our animals as well. In late July, a call came in to our animal control officers from a concerned citizen who found a little puppy trapped behind a grate in a water drainage area. Well, within minutes, 2 of our animal control officers were there, determined to get the little girl out. We spoke with their supervisor, who said she's not surprised at all. For our animal control officers, it's just all in a day's work. She is so tiny you can barely see her behind the grate. But Officer Samuel Majors found her in minutes after the call came in from a concerned citizen who spotted her trapped in about a foot of water. We sat down with Sergeant Cynthia Levitt at a safe 6 feet to hear how a dog now named Ursula was saved by 2 Las Vegas animal control officers.
Somebody had called and said that there was a dog stuck in like a culvert. It's like the runoff from one of the parks, and the dog was behind a grate and there was water in there and it couldn't get out. So the 2 officers went, Officer Majors and Officer Kuykendall. They went down there, and in order to get to the dog, they actually put on trash bags and taped it so they could walk through the water. And because she was so scared, they had to use a come-along, which is the long stick with a leash, and they actually got to pull her out of the area and took her to the shelter.
Since she had no identifying microchip or collar and no one came to claim her for the 72 hours the Animal Foundation holds animals in case an owner comes looking for a lost pet, she was handed over to a PAW partner rescue in Pahrump.
She can't be adopted because she's just terrified. So they actually let her go to a rescue in Pahrump. It's called Pets Worth Saving. And I called them today and they said she's doing fantastic, very shy, but once she warms up, she's doing well. They're going to keep her for a couple more weeks and then they're going to put her up for adoption.
Sergeant Levitt says the officers do everything they can to reunite pets with owners, but if they can't, the shelter is the best place for them to be safe and get a second chance. She says the Las Vegas team is second to none.
Extraordinary. We do everything we can when we come across an animal to try to return it. We have scanners in our truck. If there's a chip on it, we try to find the owners. We do everything we can not to bring it to the shelter. So if it has a tag on it, we call the vet. If it's got an ID tag, we'll call the number on it. If it has a chip, we will find out. So if we can't get a hold of anybody or it's not linked to anybody, then we take it to the shelter and then they further research it.
So now this 2-year-old Chihuahua mix is getting her second chance thanks to animal control. Pets Are Worth Saving rescue and a concerned citizen who didn't just pass by an animal in trouble. There's a really good chance Ursula has been adopted by now, but if you're interested, you can go to the Facebook or you can Google Pets Are Worth Saving in Pahrump. Look for Ursula or any pet you might want to adopt. If you're looking for a forever furry friend, look at all of the rescue leagues in our community as well as our Animal Foundation. You know, while we had Sergeant Levitt with us, I wanted to talk to her about something I hear a lot of people complaining about, and that is how do we exercise our pets in this heat? Some people don't take into consideration that even though the air might be cooler in the morning and in the evening, the pavement can still be dangerously hot. Here is what she suggests.
I encourage the exercise because it's good for us and it's good for the animals, but people need to use caution. They have shoes on. So when you take your animal out, whether morning or night, put your hand on the ground, not in the shade, in the sun, put your hand on the ground. How does it feel? If it's too hot for your hand, it's too hot for your animal's paws because they burn.
Sergeant Levitt says really the morning is probably the best time to walk your pets. The pavement has had all night to cool off. As for leaving your pet outdoors, the law is pretty loose. The absolute minimum your pet must have is a constant source of water and some shade. She says some backyards are set up beautifully for pets with misters, baby pools, and a fountain for them to drink out of. They cannot be tied up 24 hours a day. Really, the best thing to do in the extreme temperatures is find a place indoors for your dog or your cat. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're talking trees, a green makeover in downtown Las Vegas.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it here. So what are you waiting for? Just go to the site.
Welcome back to City Beat from the KCLV TV studios. Well, Fremont Street has gotten quite the makeover lately, a green makeover, in case you hadn't noticed. Jennifer Davies has the story.
You may have noticed the beautiful trees that now line Fremont Street thanks to Project Enchilada, which is revitalizing many of the neon signs and bringing more green open space to the area.
In the process, we planted 115 trees from Las Vegas Boulevard all the way down to Maryland Parkway.
The trees make an instant impact for visitors and recall the design of Las Vegas 100 years ago, when shade was crucial for life in the desert before air conditioning. The new design of Fremont Street mimics the mature trees you see in old photographs like these from the 1920s, but finding trees that can handle our desert environment was challenging.
These trees have got to be tough. They're planted in between the street and the sidewalk. They get a tremendous heat load. So that was one of our primary considerations, was selecting trees that could withstand the really challenging environment that we're putting them in.
6 different species of trees were planted near Fremont and Las Vegas Boulevard, where the Fremont East District begins. These Texas red oak trees were already 30 feet tall when planted late last year and could double in size during their decades-long lifespan. To help protect the lifespan and health of the city's trees, Brad Dosler is the city's urban forester and looks out for the city's tree inventory.
The city has a huge inventory of trees. We have nearly 48,000 trees with an estimated replacement value of $500 million. It's a huge asset that the city owns.
And those 48,000 trees can be found across city facilities, from community centers and fire stations to even public sidewalks like right here. Brad and his team know the health, species, and age of all of those trees, and their vast knowledge helps inform future projects. In addition to his work on Project Enchilada, Brad has also been involved in the Las Vegas Boulevard construction project downtown. Approximately 370 palm trees have been saved and will be replanted when the project finishes in 2023. New tree species will also be planted to bring more shade to the area and diversify the tree offerings. For City Beat, I'm Jennifer Davies.
Thank you, Jennifer Davies, for that story. Well, parks here in the city of Las Vegas, as well as all across the nation, have just gotten a major financial boost, all thanks to the Great American Outdoors Act, which was largely supported by both the House and the Senate and signed into law by the president on August 4th. So what does this really mean for Las Vegas? Well, we caught up with Parks and Rec Director Greg Weitzel to find out. There may never have been a time quite like these recent months when we have come to rely on our parks, trails, and open spaces for physical and mental health. When March of 2020 hit and we looked around to find empty streets, schools, and businesses, one of the few places we knew we could visit was our neighborhood park.
In this time of pandemic, we have realized now that parks are more important than ever. You know, this park today is filled with people, lots of activity. This is a safe place to come, a healthy place to come and get exercise, but also have that distance.
And as the country eased back open, it was our national parks where many of us turned for vacations, where we could get away without getting in each other's way. Well, now everything from city parks to national parks in the country are getting a huge financial shot in the arm thanks to the Great American Outdoors Act. This act will have two major benefits. It will help chip away at the backlog of maintenance work needed at our national parks, trails, visitor centers, and roadways, while giving local governments like Las Vegas more money to improve and expand parks as well.
They have over $12 billion in maintenance backlog, and this will help with that. But what's most important is the Land and Water Conservation Fund was permanently funded, $900 million a year for forever, which is huge for Parks and Recreation. That means places like here in Lorenzi Park are going to get a real boost over time with the grant funding that's going to come back to our city here.
We met Greg Weitzel in one of our older and one of our more used parks in the city, Lorenzi Park. He says a park like this stands to benefit greatly from this grant money.
We're here in Lorenzi Park because of the Land and Water Conservation Fund. That helped fund this park and get it built. It's been around since the 1960s. Unfortunately, it's not been funded fully, and only once since the 1960s. So this is, for now going forward, there's going to be a lot of grant funding available to help improve parks like this and also build new parks.
A specific example where we might see some of the money coming in the very near future?
The City of Las Vegas just applied for what's called the Outdoor Recreation Legacy Program. It's called ORLOP for short, for Charleston Heights Park, completely renovating that. We put in a grant for $1 million, and we're hoping to hear back from that soon. That's a great example of how this funding is going to come right into the City of Las Vegas to help us renovate our parks.
Of course, we have to apply for the money and match dollar for dollar. But with $900 million a year to go around, plus the $9.5 billion to begin clearing up the maintenance backlog at national parks, Weitzel believes the Great American Outdoors Act is a huge vote of confidence in the future of our parks and open spaces everywhere.
So lots of things that are happening in the future, new trails, expanding our parks, fixing and renovating our older parks, and then building new parks. So it's really exciting for us.
Greg Weitzel says this is not taxpayer money. This money comes from royalties from offshore drilling. Well, it's time for another break, and when we come back, it's back out to nature where some people have found a way to get exercise in the cool at the crack of dawn.
Drop that baby.
Welcome back to City Beat from KCLV TV. Well, the City of Las Vegas is looking for a few good men and women for our AmeriCorps program. It's sort of like an internship where you learn, earn, and grow. I had a chance recently to sit down with two of the young ladies who head up this program for a live Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter conversation. If you or someone you know is interested in AmeriCorps, get out a pen and paper. We've got some great information for you. Hello, everyone, and welcome from Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm Nancy Byrne. I am the senior producer here at the City of Las Vegas Channel 2, and we've got some really exciting news from our Department of Youth Development and Social Innovation Department. Applications are currently being accepted for both of our AmeriCorps programs. You may have heard of that name, but you might not be completely familiar with it. AmeriCorps is a part of the Corporation for National and Community Service, the federal agency that leads up service, volunteering, and grant making efforts all across the United States. As we said, you might be familiar with the name, but let's take a look at this quick video to get you familiar with the program.
What exactly is AmeriCorps anyways? AmeriCorps is simply Americans of all ages and backgrounds dedicating their time and skills to get things done. There we go. So how does AmeriCorps get things done? More than 80,000 Americans across the country join AmeriCorps each year, and all of them are tackling different problems in different ways. For example, AmeriCorps members help families attain affordable homes. They mentor students so that they stay in school. Perhaps there is a tornado, a flood, a forest fire, or a hurricane. AmeriCorps members also help communities recover from disasters. There's so many more things that AmeriCorps members do. But if we said it all, we'd be here all day. Why do we call them members, you ask? AmeriCorps members spend anywhere from 3 months to a year dedicating their time and skills to serve. They can volunteer with nonprofits, schools, public agencies, and community and faith-based organizations. And in case you were wondering, there are a few perks AmeriCorps members get, including money to pay for college, student loan deferment, training, living allowance, health benefits, and job opportunities with leading employers. Not too bad, right? All right. What's the purpose of AmeriCorps? Like the military or the Peace Corps, AmeriCorps is a way to serve your country. AmeriCorps members make Americans safer, stronger, and healthier, and they strengthen our communities. But above all, AmeriCorps members get things done. That's it. That's what AmeriCorps is. Learn more about AmeriCorps at AmeriCorps.gov.
All right, now that you have a better idea of what AmeriCorps is, let's talk about the programs that we offer through AmeriCorps here at the City of Las Vegas. Joining me this afternoon are Ro Martinez Salcedo, and she oversees our VISTA program, and Brandy Catlin, who oversees our Success Mentors. Thanks, you guys, for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
Let's talk about both of the programs. They're both under AmeriCorps, but they're very different programs. Let's start off with VISTA. Ro, would that be you, or would that be you?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
So VISTA stands for Volunteers in Service to America. So as an AmeriCorps VISTA, you are working to help support high-need communities. So here at the City of Las Vegas, our mission is to alleviate poverty. So you do get a living allowance every 2 weeks, and it has to match the poverty level of the area you're serving. So here in Southern Nevada, that is $513 every 2 weeks. And after you complete your year of service, you're eligible for your education award of $6,195. And it can go towards tuition or student loans. And it is a full-time position here at the city. So you'll be working with City of Las Vegas staff and helping us build our communities.
I know that we've talked to some of the young ladies we've talked to young ladies who've been part of VISTA, and they really find it very rewarding. We've already hired 6 of the 7, if I'm correct. Which position remains open?
The workforce engagement position remains open. So through that position, your year of service will look like in working in workforce development initiatives here at the City of Las Vegas. So really being immersed in communities that are underemployed or have high unemployment numbers.
Okay. Now, to apply to be a VISTA, you can go to lasvegasnevada.gov/YDSI for Youth Development Social Innovation for a direct link to the application. So we try and make it as easy as we possibly can. Let's move on to Success Mentors. Brandy, can you give us a little information about that?
Sure. AmeriCorps state members, they serve as Success Mentors. They'll serve a 9-month term, ideally through September through May during our school year, and anywhere from 22 to 30 hours a week. So we do have some part-time positions available and almost full-time positions. They'll earn up to $8,075 for the term, and an education award of over $3,000 that can go towards any college, university, or to pay off any student loans that someone might have. So our Success Mentors, they focus on promoting virtual learning, and they'll work with students in our community to support their distance education goals this upcoming school year.
All right, Brandy, thank you. And again, same as with VISTA, you can apply right by going lasvegasnevada.gov/YDSI. What are you guys looking for in these candidates?
So we're looking for people that will bring passion and commitment to our communities and also our students. I think more than ever, we are looking for people that can be flexible and adaptable as things change every day. And it's really crucial to the success of our programs. Teamwork is also incredibly important. So we're just looking for commitment and really that passion to serve.
Any final thoughts before we give that website one more time?
No, I think it's a very rewarding program. So we encourage you to apply.
Wonderful. There's a lovely message that said I wouldn't be where I am today without AmeriCorps. So
Yeah.
that's great. Thank you, Emily. And thank you all for joining us. We want to give you that website one more time to apply for either AmeriCorps, the VISTA, or the Success Mentor. You can go to lasvegasnevada.gov/YDSI. Brandy and Ro, thank you so much for the
Thank
information.
you.
It's a great program. I'm real proud the city participates in it.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you for the next LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter update. So as we look for ways to exercise, right now we are contending with two different things, the pandemic and triple-digit heat. The earlier we get out, the better. Well, our resident cyclist, photographer, editor, Eric Sorensen, introduces us to an unofficial group called the Dawn Patrol. They take to a trail around Lake Mead called the Lake Mountains Loop. They get out there very early. He did the same to capture the cyclers and the scenery. Now, this trail is only open to walkers and people on bikes. It's about 30 miles. Some of it's uphill, some of it's downhill, so some of it's hard and some of it's easy. And as we say goodbye here on this City Beat, we introduce you to the Dawn Patrol.